This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us for USVI News. I'm Emily Matson. We are following up with USVI swimmer Natalia Kuipers, who is making her Olympic splash with the territory this summer. USVI News' Ali Bourne-Vanek dives deep with the 19-year-old from St. Croix and has more on her road to Tokyo.
With each lap, St. Croix's Natalia Kuipers is closer and closer to Tokyo.
I'm really pumped. This has been a dream of mine since I was really young. When Kaylee Watson went to the Olympics in 2016, I told my coach Brian, I was like, I really want to go in 2020. And he was like, all right, let's make it happen. And I can't believe it's here. I mean, a year later, but still, it's very exciting.
With the excitement comes countless hours of practice and preparation. Here at home, she'll swim in this pool day and night.
It's definitely a lot. It's a lot of early mornings and late evenings, and I don't know, it's more than just in the pool. It's running, it's lifting, it's a lot.
The journey hasn't been easy. Her Olympic debut was scheduled for last year, but with COVID and the games being pushed back to 2021, she had to compete for a spot again.
It was definitely really hard. I really like to plan like a year in advance all the swim meets I'm going to and everything that's going on, and so I feel like I spent like basically all of last year preparing for the Olympics, and then obviously everything went a little bit awry, but yeah, that was definitely a bit challenging for me, but I mean, it just gave me another year to get ready for it, so I can't be mad.
Tokyo, Japan will be one of several countries that Natalia has already traveled to and competed in. And this is something that she speaks about with younger swimmers, the opportunities and places that you'll go by being an athlete and a swimmer.
With Olympic dreams moving ahead, Natalia says she's excited to make a splash and represent the territory.
I'm really excited. I was born here and this is my home, and honestly I don't think there's a bigger honor to that I can have than representing the Virgin Islands. It's just, I don't know, I don't have words. It's really exciting.
In St. Croix, Ali Bourne-Vanek, USVI News.
And we will definitely be keeping an eye on Natalia as she heads to Tokyo when the Olympic Games kick off on July 23rd. Best of luck to her. Tokyo is speeding up its COVID-19 vaccination program ahead of the Olympic Games. 4 new vaccination centers have opened in downtown Tokyo in a bid to boost inoculations before the Games open in about 3 weeks. A section of the Japanese capital where boxing events will take place began its mass vaccination program on Monday. Officials have said that 47,000 doses of Moderna's vaccine will be distributed in the district until the end of September. Japanese infectious disease experts say even in the most optimistic scenario, Tokyo's daily new coronavirus cases could increase due to greater travel activity during the Games. And all the USA athletes are geared up for gold with less than a month to go before the Summer Tokyo Olympics. Tina Cross is in London with a look ahead into the Games.
Sydney's time is now.
Sydney McLaughlin flew past the competition at the Olympic trials in Oregon on Sunday.
That's a new world record!
Running the fastest ever 400-meter hurdles. The 21-year-old from New Jersey is primed for gold ahead of the 2020 Games next month in Tokyo. So is Virginia native Grant Holloway, who nearly broke a world record in the 110-meter hurdles, missing it by 100th of a second. Team USA showcased a star-powered Olympic lineup at qualifying competitions over the weekend. 4-time Olympic gold medalist Simone Biles secured her spot in Tokyo despite a fall from the beam. 18-year-old Suni Lee from Minnesota also locked up a place.
No need to doubt.
But tennis superstar Serena Williams says she's not on the Olympic list, and she won't say why.
In the past has been a wonderful place for me, but I really haven't thought about it, and so I'm going to keep not thinking about it.
The 23 times Grand Slam singles champion said earlier this year Tokyo may not be in the cards as COVID restrictions wouldn't allow her to bring her 3-year-old daughter Olympia. Despite growing concerns about COVID, the Olympic torch is getting closer to Tokyo, with just a few weeks to go before the Games begin.
Vaccinating as many Americans as possible is still a top goal for the White House. And they now have a new message for young adults who are hesitant about getting the shot. Our Washington correspondent Matt Knadler spoke one-on-one with a member of the White House's COVID task force who happens to hail right here from the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Last week, the White House announced it will miss one of President Biden's key COVID-19 vaccination deadlines, getting at least 70% of American adults one shot before July 4th. Numbers from the CDC on Tuesday show they are close at 66%.
We always knew we'd have to go through the 4th of July because we're trying to get an entire country vaccinated.
To hit that 70% mark after the 4th, Dr. Marcela Nunez-Smith and the White House COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force are now shifting their focus to a specific demographic, Americans under the age of 30. Just 4 in 10 Americans ages 18 to 24 are fully vaccinated, nearly half the number of older Americans. The strategy? Encouraging everyone from friends, family, coaches, and clergy to share their vaccination stories.
What motivated you to get vaccinated? What was your experience like? Really importantly, how do you feel now knowing that your risk for COVID-19 has been so greatly reduced because of vaccine?
But another hurdle may only be cleared by time. A recent survey found nearly 1/3 of unvaccinated adults are waiting for the vaccines to receive full approval from the Food and Drug Administration, not just emergency use. The task force is also combating public concerns over a rare but notable condition after receiving the Moderna or Pfizer vaccines, myocarditis or heart inflammation.
The reality is COVID-19 itself can cause myocarditis much worse, sadly, in young children.
Overall, 57% of American adults are fully vaccinated, according to the CDC. It's a figure lower than the White House wants, but officials here are optimistic that more Americans will be getting the shot soon.
The choice is the vaccine or the virus. That's where we are in our country.
In Washington, Matt Knadler reporting.
And positive case counts have risen just a bit in the territory this week. Let's take a look at the latest numbers. There are currently 58 active COVID cases across the territory, with 31 on St. Thomas, 27 on St. Croix, and no current positive cases on St. John. The VI Department of Health is warning that they're seeing the UK variant pop up in some of these positive cases recently, which is much more contagious. So they continue to advise residents to get vaccinated. Meantime, Moderna says its vaccine showed promise in a lab against multiple coronavirus variants, including the Delta variant. The company says it collected blood samples from 8 people 1 week after they received the second dose of the vaccine and tested them against numerous variants. Moderna says the vaccine produced neutralizing antibodies against Delta as well as Beta, which was first identified in South Africa, and Gamma, which was first found in Brazil. But the company does say that there was a slight reduction in the neutralizing antibody levels, but they don't believe it's enough to evade the virus. So some good news there about Moderna's vaccine. And the highly contagious Delta coronavirus variant could likely be the most prominent variant we see in our communities by the end of this summer. Reporter Madeline O'Neill explains what that means for people who are vaccinated and those who are not.
It's worrisome because it can spread more quickly. It can cause a more severe disease.
The Delta variant spreads unseen by the human eye.
If you're not vaccinated, it's something you really have to worry about.
UW-Madison professor Dave O'Connor's lab sequences coronavirus samples, so we can see what's coming.
But we can expect that by August, it's going to be the majority, and it might be almost all of what we see.
O'Connor says for the most part, if you're vaccinated, you can live your life without worry, even with the current variants.
Based on real-life experience, vaccines do protect against the Delta variant.
SSM Health's Mo Carbot is concerned the variants could spread quickly in unvaccinated pockets of the country.
In areas in the United States where vaccination rates are low, that's where we're seeing outbreaks.
The goal is to reach herd immunity before another variant pops up.
As the COVID virus continues to evolve, what is it going to evolve into, and will the antibodies generated by the vaccines still be effective against it? And
Dr. Bill Hartman leads the UW Health AstraZeneca vaccine trial. In other countries, AstraZeneca started a trial today for a booster shot aimed particularly against the Beta variant.
Until we've tamped down the virus in every country of the world, there's always the chance that it could spread again.
Taking a global perspective matters when looking at the future of variants here at home.
As long as the countries in the world where there's lots of cases continue to have lots of cases, you have that fuel for new variants that are more dangerous to continue to emerge.
And when it comes to those vaccines, new research suggests that mixing schedule or a mixed schedule involving certain COVID-19 vaccines generates an immune response. The University of Oxford study looked at the Pfizer-BioNTech and AstraZeneca vaccines and involved 830 participants. So the shots were given 4 weeks apart on an alternating schedule. The scientists found that both mixed schedules induced high concentrations of antibodies against the virus. However, they do say a stronger immune response was generated when the AstraZeneca vaccine was administered as the first dose, followed by the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine as the second dose.